Today's Love This Way show is brought to you by The Club. The Club is a safe space I curated just for you. There's tips, challenges, downloads, ebooks, journals, coloring books. Just all you need to help you to succeed in your relationship endeavors. The best part? Each tier comes with free coaching sessions with me. So if you've been wanting to book a session with me but couldn't quite afford it yet, join a club and save hundreds. The coaching sessions alone are reason enough to join. With tiers starting at only $37 a month, you don't want to miss this opportunity. Visit shaliavinny.com, choose the membership level of your choice, and go to your calendar and book your free session. I can't wait to connect more with you. And make sure you mention Love This Way sent you. Hello and welcome to the Love This Way podcast, the show that exists to help men and women everywhere to be better at love. Never any gender wars, back and forth, or nonsense. Just great tips to help you find and sustain the love of your dreams. Because love is a journey, but you need direction. Get ready because each episode we're going to be talking about our real life issues, answering tough questions, and building solid relationships with one another as we heal, learn, and grow. I'm your host, your girl, Dr. Shalia Vinny, and today's show we're going to talk about when love turns toxic, how to spot manipulation and protect yourself. Are you ready? Let's get into it. On today's episode, we're going to be diving into a topic that's as painful as it is important, recognizing when love turns toxic. Toxic relationships are not always obvious at first. They often creep in slowly, disguised as passion or intense connection, until you wake up one day feeling confused, controlled, and diminished. The scariest part of it all, manipulators can make you question your reality, your worth, and even your own sanity. But here's the truth. You deserve to be loved in a way that builds you up, not tears you down. So today, I really want to unpack the signs of manipulation and, more importantly, how you can protect yourself from it. Because toxic love doesn't just steal your time, it can steal your identity. And the sooner you recognize it, the sooner you can reclaim your power. So let's get into how these manipulators operate and how you can guard yourself against their tactics. Because in the beginning, toxic relationships can feel intoxicating. The manipulator often will sweep you off of your feet and make you feel like you're just the center of the universe. But beneath the surface of all that attention lies something even more sinister. Manipulators use clever, covert tactics to gain control over you. And before you realize it, you're in deeper than you expected. So what are some common manipulation tactics? Of course, everybody knows love bombing. At first, they shower you with affection, compliments, and attention, and they make you feel like you found the perfect partner. But once they've hooked you, the affection starts to fade, and it leaves you confused and craving the validation you once received so freely. Another one that's huge is gaslighting, one of the most insidious tactics, because they make you doubt your own reality by denying things that they said or done, making you feel like you're overly sensitive or even like you're losing your sense of reality. And another thing that people don't recognize is isolation. Slowly, they encourage you to distance yourself from friends and family, making you almost completely dependent on them. This isolation gives them greater control over your emotional world. And then, of course, here's a huge one, triangulation. They may bring in a third person, comparing you to an ex or even subtly suggesting that someone else is interested in them. This makes you feel insecure, and then you start comparing yourself and competing for their attention. If you can learn to recognize some of these tactics, that is the first step toward freeing yourself from their grip. Because if any of this sounds familiar, know that you are not alone, but your awareness is your most powerful tool. So you know what? I got you, baby. Okay, so recognizing manipulation is only the first step. Now, the real challenge comes when you have to break free from its grip because toxic relationships create an emotional dependence that can feel like a trap, whether that's because the manipulator has isolated you, convinced you that you can't do any better, or they've just manipulated your sense of reality. Breaking free isn't just about leaving physically, it's about freeing yourself mentally and emotionally from their hold. This process takes time, self-awareness, and a strong support system, but it's entirely possible and necessary for your own well-being. So how do we do that? Number one, you've got to set firm boundaries. Boundaries are the antidote to manipulation. Manipulators hate boundaries because they thrive on control and power dynamics, which often pushes limits to see how far they can go. Start small by clearly defining your emotional, physical, and even conversational boundaries. For example, if they like to belittle you or, they come at you sideways all the time, let them know you won't engage in conversations that include name calling or disrespect. How to enforce that? Easy. When they cross the line, you calmly reaffirm your boundary. I've told you I'm not going to engage in this conversation if you keep belittling me. Don't allow yourself to be drawn into the argument. Stick to your boundary, even if they try to guilt or manipulate you into backing down. Manipulators may initially push back against these boundaries, trying to make you feel like, oh, you're guilty or accuse you of being selfish. But this is their way of testing whether they can control you still. Stand firm. Over time, maintaining boundaries will not only protect your emotional health, but also weaken their influence over you. Number two, you gotta reconnect with your support system. Manipulators like to isolate their victims by either subtly or overtly discouraging relationships with friends and family. One of the most crucial steps in breaking free is to rebuild those connections. Reach out to people you trust, those who have known you before the relationship. Let them know what's going on. You don't have to share everything at once, but open up and give yourself a chance. Let them be the people that you know you loved and trusted at one point. Opening up is going to give you a sense of perspective that you may have lost while being in this toxic relationship. This matters because outside perspectives can help you see things more clearly, because those who love you are going to remind you of who you are and what you deserve and the reality of the situation. Isolation makes it easy for a manipulator to skew your sense of reality. So the more you surround yourself with people who truly care about you, the stronger your resolve is going to become. A therapist is also a very great tool here, giving you the space to unpack the relationship and strategies to move forward. Hello. Number three, trust your gut. Deep down, you probably already know that something isn't right. Manipulation often works because it creates confusion, making you question whether you're overreacting or even if things are really as bad as they seem. Trusting your gut can feel difficult when you've been gaslit, but your intuition is often the best guide to determining if something is wrong. How do you listen to it? You just take time to reflect on how you feel after interactions with your partner. Do you feel drained, anxious, unsure? Are you constantly trying to prove your worth or questioning your sanity? These are red flags. And usually your emotional well-being is being compromised, and that's what your body is trying to tell you. Journaling is a great way to reconnect with your inner voice. Write down what happened in the moment versus how you feel later. That can help you clarify the patterns of manipulation. Your gut feelings are very powerful. Even if you can't pinpoint exactly what's wrong, that inner discomfort is enough to signal that something needs to change. Trusting your gut can give you the strength to start detaching emotionally from the manipulator. Number four, you've got to disengage from the drama. Manipulators love to stir up emotional drama just to keep you emotionally invested. Whether it's picking fights, creating jealousy, gaslighting you, they feed off of your emotional reactions because it gives them a sense of control. Disengage from this is a cycle and is crucial to you breaking free. How do you do that? When you sense them trying to provoke a reaction, whether it's through criticism, guilt tripping, playing mind games, just respond with a calm detachment. Use phrases like, I'm not going to argue about this, or I won't discuss this when you're being disrespectful. The goal is to take away their power by not giving them the emotional response they're seeking. Over time, when they see that you won't be drawn into their drama, they'll lose some of the control they hold over you. Learning how to respond calmly without getting emotionally entangled is difficult, but it sends a powerful message. You're no longer playing by their rules. You're asserting your independence, which diminishes their hold on you. By doing these things and setting boundaries and reconnecting with your support system and trusting your gut, you disengage from the drama, which significantly takes steps from freeing you from the toxic hold of your manipulator. The key is to reclaim your power and your sense of self, something that has been slowly eroded in this relationship. But breaking free may feel daunting, but each step you take helps you move closer to your emotional healing. Hey friend, make sure you check out shaliavinny.com. You can join a club there. You can book one-on-one coaching sessions with me. You can buy my books there. Oh, and you can get free advice from me now. Go to shaliavinny.com, click the free advice tab, and go ahead and submit your question. I will be answering those questions on my social medias, so make sure you do that because you don't want to miss out. Love you guys. So, we've been discussing recognizing toxic love and how to break free. But now I want to teach you how to fight back because fighting back against toxic relationships isn't always about confrontation. It's about reclaiming your power and cutting off their ability to control you because the manipulator thrives on your emotional reactions, your need for their approval, and your fear of being alone. But once you realize that you don't need them, you take away their power. So, here's a few ways you can fight back. Detachment. The first step to fighting back is emotional detachment. Don't engage with their manipulations or try to win arguments. Realize that their need for control has nothing to do with your worth and disengage in their emotional tactics. Plain and simple. Number two, no contact. In many cases, the best way to regain your sense of self is to cut contact completely. This gives you space to heal and to see the situation more clearly without their influence. If no contact isn't possible, then keep interactions minimal and focused. Always got to focus on your self care as well. This is a huge one. So many of us just totally forget about ourselves. You've got to rebuild yourself emotionally and mentally. Reclaim your hobbies, friendships, parts of yourself that you lost during the relationship. The stronger you feel in yourself, the harder it's going to be for them to re enter your life. And the last one, own your own narrative. One of the most powerful ways to fight back is to take control of your own story. A manipulator will try to rewrite the past to make you doubt yourself. By owning your experience and validating your emotions, you fight back against their narrative and you create your own path forward. Now, as we close today's episode, I want you to remember that your power lies in your ability to recognize manipulation and to reclaim your voice, your boundaries, and your sense of self. Toxic love isn't love at all. It's control wrapped in affection. But the beautiful thing about realizing this is that once you see it for what it is, you can never unsee it. And that knowledge is your greatest weapon. You deserve a love that uplifts, not diminishes. A love that adds to your life, not one that slowly takes away from it. So if you've ever felt confused, unsure, or like you've lost yourself in someone else's world, know this. You have the power to walk away and rebuild stronger than before. Sometimes the most profound act of love is the love you give yourself by refusing to stay in a relationship that doesn't honor who you are. And that's the kind of strength that can never be taken from you. Until next time, please take care of yourself, honor your growth, and keep your heart open to the love you deserve. If you need more help, you can always go to shaliavinny.com and book a one-on-one session with me. I love you guys so much, and you know I'm rooting for you. Today's show is brought to you by The Club. Please rate the show on your favorite streaming platform and share it with one person who you think needs to hear it and ask them to do the same. Remember to never stop showing up for yourself and the love you desire to have. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. Until next time, your friend and relationship strategist, Dr. Shalia. Bye.